Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real life experience, laughter, and well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. It is your creation after all. Now, learn how to make it sing. Of course, In the Know with Steph and Joe, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at epicmediainc.com. Call Jess over there. She's awesome at what she does. We'll get her on later here because, well, if it wasn't for these two barging into the studio, I would have been late to my own show. This is not good.
Like you literally thought that like we came blowing into the
I'm like,
studio.
hey, thanks for knocking.
And you're like, oh, thanks for knocking, jerks. And you're welcome.
That's right.
That's all I have to say is you're welcome.
That's it. Well, speaking of ethics.
Right. So let's do some introductions around. We have our awesome guest, Derek, here today. Derek, go ahead. On the spot. Right away.
Long time listener, first time.
Long time
listener. Yeah.
Long time listener.
At least the past 3-4 months, right?
Long time commenter, right?
Comments a lot, yeah.
And we're bringing him in.
So you give your name, and if you want to say what you do and give the contact information, then that's what you do.
You're allowed you're allowed to say what you do.
Derek Hartman, Fraser Wealth Management, independent financial planning firm. If you need to contact me, 815-308-5674 or Derek at FRASERWM.com.
Awesome. I tend to not give out my cell phone.
Yeah.
I am Joe Turner with Restoration One, 847-264-4664. And we have one other person here besides Steph. So Steph, go ahead and introduce yourself. And then we got to introduce our other guest here.
So StephBooks.com. You can reach me at 847-942-3004. And my extra special guest is Eli Conley. We decided that we would get a wide age spectrum of ethics and how everybody applies them in their everyday life. Eli, say hi to everybody on social media.
Hi.
Grandma's
Hi, Eli.
Say hi to Grandma.
Hi.
Hi, Linda. She didn't say hi yet, but I have to yell it every time because I was told that it works. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, she's way down in Arizona.
Yeah, so it works when I yell. We're talking ethics today. I mean, what is ethics, right? What does ethics mean to you?
We're talking about it a little bit in the green room because we had a short green room.
Yes, we did.
So Derek and I kind of Googled some stuff to make sure we were on the up and up with everything and understood the difference.
You needed to go if you
wait.
Ethics, first off, I just want to say if you
ethics, morals, and values.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
but if you have to Google ethics,
no, not specific ethics.
You're in trouble.
Ethics, morals, and values. What's the differences? Do you know on the spot? Exactly.
There you go.
We'll go with yes.
Okay, tell me what the Google said.
The Google would probably say ethics are more on your actual, like what you do throughout the day. Morals are your principles. And then what was the last one? Values.
Mm-hmm.
Values would be probably something along the lines of crap would be like what your, I don't know, maybe goals. I don't know. That would be a tough. All right, good one.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Derek, go ahead.
So ethics, we looked it up together. So ethics is on the professional side of things, and then your morals are on your personal side of things. At least that's what the Google machine tells us.
Yes.
So
and
a simple breakdown.
Right. Yeah. And then so your ethics and your morals are your call to action items, and your values are just your everyday internals kind of thing.
So values are what is important to you.
Yeah.
There's Grandma.
There is Linda. Hi, Grandma Linda.
He's hanging with us today.
We're keeping you safe.
Morales is a Mexican surname.
I call it from Mexico.
What were you talking about?
Not that.
Los Éticos and Morales.
So I feel like everybody's kind of had a thing where your morals, your personal morals, sometimes conflict with your professional ethics and things. Like I've, in my past lives have worked for companies that have tested that. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like everybody's kind of gone through that. And how do you navigate that and then be able to look yourself in the mirror the next day and get up and do it the next day?
Or whether or not you look yourself in the mirror, whether to literally just get through that night of sleep.
Well, and I think we see it in every aspect of life, right? So it's our businesses, obviously, mine especially. The ethical portion comes in because you're dealing with people's money, but it could be, just out and about. Someone, something happens to someone, do you jump into action? Or business-wise stuff.
Right.
I mean, all the things you see with, business that come in their books. I mean, you probably have to make some ethical decisions in what they want you to do and compared to, what you should be doing.
Well, usually, so for me, like from the business standpoint, I tell people, like, if I strongly disagree with something that they want me to transact, I tell them that they have to do it themselves. Because I've had clients call me and be
please
like,
launder this money.
Yeah.
No, you do that yourself.
yeah.
I know nothing about that.
So like I've had a client call me and ask me how to, well, actually, no, it wasn't a client. It was somebody looking for bookkeeping services. And they're like, how do I create a paycheck on this paycheck creator site for me to produce a W-2 to present for me to get a loan? And I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even know like how to like,
PDF creator. I mean, you didn't hear that from me.
I'm like, I don't know like how, like what to say to that. Number one, I said, I can't advise you on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you would probably have to call tech support for whatever app you're on. Like,
that's a very politically correct answer.
Like,
but like, those are clear cut things, right? Like,
no,
no.
not everybody operates is like that.
Well, there's gray area always.
So let me ask you this. Do you think, and I've kind of thought about this, but do you think ethics, some people might make a decision that's not ethical in our minds, but do you think that they just don't know better in some of those instances?
Yes.
Do you think that
I think there's always the swing in the spectrum of where people's mind could be versus what they know versus what they think, because so many people have different backgrounds, right? And the background of somebody could be in that their, family, their history, their values growing up in their family taught them to do certain things a certain way, right? And now here you are, and they're trying to implement that in some said situation, but that situation does not call for that, right? So yes, I think you can definitely come across.
I think people can make an error that they, maybe were not informed completely. Like it was like is something that I might perceive as common knowledge might not actually be common knowledge to everybody out there. But I also think that if you have any level of common sense, or you get that tingly feeling in the back of your neck, that this is a little sketchy.
There's definitely certain situations that could arise that you could feel like you're like, no, that's not a good realm I should go on. But if your mindset says I'm going down this path and you don't see that perspective anyway, then it may not even trigger you, right? It may not even. We have a question from the audience.
A listener is inquiring that let's say that they own a restoration company. We'll call it Restoration 2. And let's say that of course, Joe, you own Restoration 1.
Yeah, is the listener Sherry Mepp?
No, I can't. They just said a listener.
Okay.
Now, you grew up in the Midwest, and this person grew up in the Southwest. Okay. So ethically in business, what's done in the Southwest is different than what your ethics or morals were growing up and doing business in the Midwest. So ethically speaking, isn't it a personal opinion that you're like, ooh, ethically, you're doing that wrong, when she may be saying, ooh, ethically, you're doing that wrong?
Well, according to the Google, isn't it then that's your morals?
Can you have one without the other?
I think ethics are different in different regions in the country, right? I mean, everywhere you go.
Right.
Well, ethics, morals, and values are all different in different parts. Like
personal.
The South, specifically Texas. You go to Texas, and I love Texas, but they have what they call the old boys club, right? And if you're not part of the old boys club, you're out.
Yeah.
You're not doing business in that area, in that little town, in that right, because you're not part of that boys club that they call them.
And of course, the thoughts and opinions of the host of this show do not
Well,
necessarily.
I'm just saying that, like, but I'm saying that, like, if your values, your morals, your ethics don't align with that boys club, you're out, right? Similar to up here, there's lots of clubs and networks and groups you can be in. Your ethics, morals, and values better be similarly in line, right, with what people are doing.
Well,
Otherwise,
and I think it falls on that line of, are you hurting someone? Is there a right and wrong? You know,
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
that's where it really falls. Are you hurting someone? Are you hurting something? And whether it's monetarily or whatever else. So it's you're really thinking about that.
Which many people may look at what they're doing as, if you think of your ethics versus my ethics not being aligned, it might be somebody may look at their ethics or whatever it may be and say, well, that doesn't align because you're hurting so-and-so. But they may not look at it as I'm hurting so-and-so. They may say, oh, well, I'm benefiting said other person.
Yep.
Right? So their ethics may be totally good to them because they're benefiting somebody else,
Well,
but they don't realize that they're hurting
oh,
somebody.
man, it's really raining.
I mean,
out there now.
are we picking up the audio on the rain here?
We can hear the crowd chanting. Yeah, it sounds like it's a standing ovation right now. I'm not.
Constant standing
Yeah.
ovation.
I have
The
an
70,000 people in attendance.
We're in
So
an
I have a
arena.
question/example. So when I used to do subprime finance, we had an incentive program, and we also had to meet a quota of gap policies, rate percentage kickbacks to dealers, et cetera, et cetera. And
Mhm.
I internally felt gross adding these extra things on people, knowing that they already couldn't afford the loans that we were lending. Like if I had a car and
Mhm.
my lowest rate was 18.99%, and they're a delivery driver and I'm giving a kickback to the dealer of 3%, so they're going to write that loan at 21.99% and they get their 3% kickback, I didn't feel good going home knowing how I was taking advantage of these people that already couldn't afford the loan and couldn't get loans elsewhere. So in turn, like business ethically wise, they weren't doing anything wrong outside of the company's like standard operating procedures, but internally I couldn't do it, and I ultimately wound up, pursuing other options.
Avenues.
Yeah.
Which I think that for those that are those that go down that route or are asked to do something unethical, those
It's
are
not
rare.
like unethical because it's a standard operating procedure. It's standard for the industry.
You're right.
They're still doing it today.
But okay,
it hasn't changed.
So it's an ethical procedure. It's a value or moral dilemma.
Yes, I would. So,
So-
like,
I think
So in that instance, then you're going against your morals, and that's where you bail from that and let somebody else with quote unquote lower morals
I
go
just
in
think
there,
it's
or
just
different.
different-
We'll go
different.
different morals.
like I mean,
Right,
because
yeah.
it's
Set
not
of
like they're doing
business
anything
models.
wrong. I just
Right.
felt guilty because I came from a very strong like customer service background. My parents and my grandparents instilled in me like you help your neighbors, you help your community, and doing that. And then I am this business I'm working for this business in the community, helping these people get these loans, but I also feel like I'm taking advantage of them.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I came from the banking world as an advisor there, and you used to see, you have to sell this many checking accounts or loans or whatever it may be, and that's another reason I'm with an independent firm. I don't have sales goals. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's I'm not
Oh,
trying.
did you see
to-
that documentary
to
on
reach-
Wells Fargo?
Well, I was just thinking
Yeah.
about that. Wells
Let's
Fargo,
not
oh,
name names here, shall
It's
we?
on Netflix. It's a real
Oh, okay.
thing.
And go ahead,
Yeah,
Wells
and they got
Fargo. You
heavy
can
fines
send
for
your
that.
email to Steph at Steph's Bookkeeping Service.
But that's what I'm saying. Is
They've
right there.
made a course correction. Okay.
Listen,
That's
at
a
least what
correction.
I say is a general statement.
Well, and that's kind of the thing is when you're putting those people under pressure to hit these sales goals, or you're going to lose your job. What are they going to do? Are they going to leave their job and go do something else, or are they going to do what the corporation wants them to do? And that's that fine line that we're
Driving sales is one thing. You can still drive sales and do it ethically correct.
Yep.
Right? Like before this life, before my past life of insurance, before that was college, and then before that was shoe sales. And I managed a shoe store, and I drove my guys and gals to sell shoes, but I did not want them to go and try and sell a $200 pair of shoes to somebody that's in, that they can clearly know is not going to, is struggling or have asked questions and, are probing them and saying, are you able to afford this kind of pair of shoes? No, well, they're, so it's just getting able to know your client, I think, that's where that ethics comes in on what the company drives for knowing your client, knowing what to drive, knowing what to sell them. Yeah, ask those questions. You can totally probe and find out, are they able to afford something more extravagant, or do they need to be a little more,
So Eric says, when in doubt, and if you doubt your ethics, just ask Dino Eli. He speaks the truth.
I mean, my question to Eli is, can you be really nice to people and still sell them a cookie? You can? Well, that's ethics right there.
You gotta talk loud so they could hear you.
Yeah, nobody hears your nod.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What if it's a cookie you don't like?
What if it's a cookie they don't like?
Ooh.
Would you be able to sell mommy a cookie that I don't like? Would you?
What kind of cookies? Wait, my question is, what kind of cookies does mommy not like? Does mommy not like cookies? Or I would imagine you like all cookies, Steph.
I can't do peanut butter cookies.
Really?
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Weak. We ought to change that.
Sad.
Can we change that?
Really sad.
Can we adjust that?
Is there a shot for that?
I think that's morally
Shep and I have
incorrect.
had several conversations about that.
That's a great question, though. Would you sell your mommy a peanut butter cookie?
Yes.
I love this kid. You would sell her a peanut butter cookie? You would?
Yeah.
Even though she might get sick? You'd still sell it to her? He, FYI, for everybody listening, he nodded.
Must take after his dad.
must take strong silent type, just like Rich.
That's right.
Love that.
Say he was dollar driven.
That's right.
Yeah, he is dollar driven.
Yeah. He's dollar driven. So
but,
you would sell
but
her
just
a peanut
because you
butter
sell
cookie?
me the cookie, do you assume I'm going to eat it, or will I give it to you or Gavin?
You give it to Gavin.
Yeah.
Is Gavin allergic to peanut butter?
No.
No? Oh, that's good. Are you allergic to peanut butter, Eli?
No, I eat peanut butter every day.
Every day?
You had a sandwich earlier.
Are you
Nice.
chunky or smooth?
That's it. That's the big question.
Smooth.
Smooth. That's the best. Yeah, I'm with you.
You can't go chunky.
So, Mary Shep, and welcome in, Mary Shep, of course, host of Living Low Sodium. It's changing the dates, May 6th. Tune in Friday mornings at 11. Asks, is it unethical to speak ill of your competitors or just bad practice?
Oh.
Good question.
I think it's unethical. I don't like talking bad about my competitors. I feel like we all bring something unique to the table. And just because I'm not your flavor doesn't mean this other bookkeeping firm isn't your flavor.
That was such a great answer. The crowd is going crazy.
Crazy. I can hear it.
70,000.
It just picked
70,000.
up. Derek, you talk bad about your peeps, your other peeps? Come on.
It's a very
I
loaded
think-
question, Mary Shep.
It is.
Yeah, Mary
It's
Shep.
very loaded.
We can ask her.
I think you talk about the things they do differently that you may or may not agree with. I think that's a hard part, especially in my industry. Everybody does it a lot different. There's different products in different ways, different licenses, everything. So
I was going to say,
it won't look, super good on
I mean,
you
like if you're
doing that
sitting
to a
there
client.
saying like, oh, well, this other financial advisor doesn't know what he's doing. This is junk. His products are junk.
right,
And you're not bringing
that's
a
right.
solution to the table. Like I could say, there's another bookkeeping firm out there and I heard, or I know other bookkeepers there and they do this. This is something that we do differently, whether it's good or bad. It's just what we do differently. And depending on what your pain point is, will determine who's the better fit.
I think in a generality, it's more about talking about the practice of what that thing is that they're doing unethically, right? Not who the company is, but more the practice of. Because then, like you said earlier, it's education.
Yeah.
Right?
Just, yesterday I had a client, and he's deciding between, he's doing something currently with another firm, and it's really walking.
That was a good save right there. That was a
Walking
good pause
through-
and a save on.
walking through what he's doing and how, we would suggest that he does it differently. And it's not saying, oh, that's bad. Here's what you're doing. Here's how it's different. And here's how it will affect you. You decide for what you want to do. Because, we never tell our clients, you must do this. It's, here are your options. You got to do what's best for you.
That's a good
So,
question I have.
Of course, you're listening to 21.6. This is In the Know with Steph and Joe. Derek, where are you from? If people want to know what you do, how do they get in touch with you?
So our office is in Woodstock, Fraser Wealth Management. You can call us 815-308-5674.
There you go. And of course, you come from an industry that, ethically speaking, was horrible for many, many years.
Yeah.
To the point now where you are a fiduciary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even that fiduciary rule, honestly, it still comes down to the person's ethics and how they do their business. Because, it's great you can stand up and say you're a fiduciary, but if there's still things that you can do and not follow the fiduciary rule and not, get in trouble for it. So it's great to have that fiduciary law out there, but in reality, it still comes down to the person you're dealing with.
Yeah, you could stand up there and say I'm a priest or maybe a pastor, ordained minister, ordained.
Amen.
True.
But if
Yes.
you don't walk that walk,
Well, relatively speaking, you have to walk the walk that somebody wants you to walk the walk of.
Right.
Like I walk the walk of those that want us to walk the walk as an ordained minister.
right?
Well,
And I appreciate the way you ethically do it.
I would say the fiduciary rule is a little
A little
different.
different than
A
my
little-
role
just
as,
a little-
as an
just a little
ordained
different.
minister.
You have kind of a path, right? You have some actual
My
rules,
path
whereas
is a little different.
I
as
don't
a
know if there's
minister.
an actual path on your minister of.
There's not.
of
There's absolutely not.
onlineness.
And that's what I'm saying, though. Is like
Onlineness.
it's more the minister that you want to walk, right?
Right.
Like how I want to go. But
Well, like something that we do internally at Steph's Books that nobody would know outside of my team is that all of our clients are flat rate. So they all pay like a flat rate bill. And like, let's say something goes awry and we need to fix something that might have happened, like something got duplicated or there was a glitch in the matrix. I don't know what happened. But anyways,
Matrix.
so our team or my team will switch from a billable timer for that client's project to a non-billable timer and put notes in there as to what happened if we needed to go back and edit or revise something that might not have been on our best day. And so because I use those billable timers to determine rate increases, reviews of, or maybe even
efficiency,
rate
right.
decreases, efficiencies of my staff and things like that. So we have two different timers that my staff works off of to ensure that the billable time is legitimate billable time. And if there's something that's more of an internal project, it is billed as non-billable time for them.
So Eli,
Yes.
if you were making a cookie and you were going to sell that cookie to somebody and the cookie were, let's say, this big for those listening is about, I'd call it a regular size cookie, regular cookie you buy.
That's a big cookie. That's like almost
a regular cookie you buy at a countertop.
Okay, fine.
Okay, not one you maybe make at your. Oh, these are the size my wife makes at our house, but regular cookie, right? I call it 3 to 4 inches in diameter. So let's say you're selling this cookie, right? Now let's say somebody were to come to you and say, "I want to buy your cookie," and you were to have a smaller cookie because you ran out of dough. And then you just have to make this smaller cookie. Would you sell them that smaller cookie at the same price?
Yes.
I love his ethics.
So
This kid is raised so well.
that's funny you say that because I had that happen.
Everything you ask, he's just gonna say yes.
Yes.
He wants to say yes.
Yes.
We had
He's
a
the
restaurant.
yes man.
The yes man.
We had
Yeah.
a restaurant we ordered in, and when we got it back home and opened it up and ordered a large of something, and we got a small, and there was a note that said, "Sorry, we ran out of whatever."
Dough. Whatever.
Whatever that was. Still charged us for the large, but they just gave us the
A little
small, just
note?
a little note
With a note.
with a note. Yeah,
Communication. At least they left a
Yeah.
note. I'm all about communication.
and I didn't look at it till I got all the way home, and I was like,
Oh.
But
Yeah.
then, like,
What?
but then were
Ken?
you like
What?
mad though? Like-
I was like, just tell me. Just tell
Like,
me.
would you
Yeah.
have, like,
Call it in.
Like, I feel like they gave, like, you ordered the large, but they gave you the small, but they left this note. Like, were you still as mad as if you would have opened the large and it was like half full and no
Honestly,
note?
if there was no note, I probably would have.
Not even
Even
noticed.
noticed.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I honestly probably wouldn't even notice. But there was this note. Sorry, we ran out of this, so you got a small.
So
And I'm
you
like,
got a small over a large. Our bad. We're still charging you.
yeah.
So that was Eli. You didn't know
Yeah.
that was actually Eli sending you.
Eli
that
made his
food.
extra $3 or $4.
Yeah, he made money off of you, and
At least it
little
went to
does
a
he
good
know.
place, yeah.
Little do you know, they actually had all the supplies. They're just shorting people with smalls over larges to make more money.
Or, Kent, did you see the TikTok with the example of the fries from the small to the
Yes.
medium to the large? And it's the same amount of
It's the same
fries.
scoop.
yeah.
Because of the way that the containers are structured, it's not any different.
I
Like
believe
the
that.
quantity of fry.
Did
that
you
get.
know that if you were to take a fry box cardboard one and you were to push the bottom, you know how it's curved up? If you
Yeah.
were to push it down and then put one of those little hard ends to the fries down in there in the middle of it and then squeeze the bottom, it pops it out and you can sling it like 4 tables over.
Have not tried that, but I guess that's gonna be a new thing.
Side note,
Friday night fun.
I got the audience roaring back there. All right. Back
Okay.
on task.
Back on.
If
Back
you,
on task.
So if you were getting paid a substantial salary,
What's a
And-
substantial salary?
I don't know, like let's say you were making 6 figures.
Okay. thank
Okay,
you.
that's
Yeah,
comfortable.
that's substantial.
So
Comfortable.
let's say you were making 6-figure salary, but the company you were working for wanted you to do something shady, like I don't know, take a brand new piece of equipment and give it to a older client and not put it on a brand new client that was paying for the brand new piece of equipment, and you swap the equipment. Not saying that I've seen that, but I'm just saying example.
That sounded like a very specific example. So it sounds like it was
asking for a friend.
Let's say
So-
let's
Or
say
a
it
friend.
was a pool filter. I've never done it, never worked for anybody.
if you
Right.
if you were in these situations where even though you were making a very comfortable salary for your household and you were feeding your kids and your wife
Okay.
and everything, would you allow that would you be able to turn a blind eye when you went
Let's-
to office and when you came home, then have your
Let's quickly present
Warrants.
this to Eli. Eli,
Huh?
would you, if somebody bought a cookie from you and they said, I want the chocolate chip cookie, and you had a chocolate chip cookie that was old and you think maybe it's a little stale, would you give them the old stale one or would you give them the brand new one? Because then once you give them the old stale one's gone. You don't have to throw it away. Right. And I don't want to waste food.
I'll
Yeah.
give it the new one.
You give them the new one?
There you go.
Look at this ethical decision. We love that great decision.
What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do with the old one?
What do you do with the old one? Do you eat the old one?
Yes.
You eat the profits. I love eating the profits. That's my favorite thing to do. That's my favorite thing to do is eat
Can't
the
waste a
profits.
cookie.
No, don't waste cookies. All right, so let's move on to that. Derek, we'll go into your answer.
And I feel like this is like a struggle that people
So, Derek,
have.
do you give them the new dollar or
Do
the
you
old
give them
dollar?
the new cookie or the old cookie? The new machine, the old machine. When I mean, for your industry, what would that be? Like an old product or an old type of thing, like maybe a stock or a something that's on the downslide, or maybe
Yeah,
not
I
as
mean-
increasing fast, right? Like, what do you do?
The nice thing, you have to be able to fit it to our client. So for us, it's whatever is best for our client. That's what we're going to do with it. In that situation, that's kind of a different situation. Okay, do the products work the same? Kind of talking about that. And I can see someone in that situation making a hard decision because maybe they can't go out and find a 6-figure job doing it again, that type of thing. In my situation, there are products that you can use that you're going to make more money off of, but you have to make that decision of, is it best for the client or is it going to benefit them most? So, I mean, you got it.
I think we all know you leave the old guy with the old part, and you give the new person with the new part.
Yeah,
They bought the
what
new
they
part.
paid
The
for.
I
new
mean, like,
part,
I'm just
right?
saying, like for me personally,
new
like I
cookie.
feel like any of the jobs I had in my previous life that I was being
It's all about.
paid above market value
Nookie.
for the job, it came with these tough decisions that had to be made and tested my own personal morals.
Right.
Because
but,
and so
but
like
those are like
and
new
then
situations that they're like trying to test you, right? Like, but maybe
Well, I
not
guess, but
test
like,
you,
but I'm just saying, like, anytime I've been paid like market rate or below, I've just done my job and it's been fine. Anytime I've been paid above market rate, there's always been some weird catch that's come with that like job or company or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It could just be uniquely to me because I just find myself in weird situations. But like, you know,
I think
Can you describe this more?
no, my mom's
tell
listening.
us-
What? Oh, your mom's listening. Sorry, Linda. Sorry, my bad, Linda.
Just want everybody to know that when you are truly authentic, there can be no competitors. With the continued growth of technology these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need custom website design or help integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, check out epicmediainc.com.
Okay. So here's my next question. My question is that I came up with here because I think no matter what, we probably all, no matter what realm, what business, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing bookkeeping, financial planning, restoration, or you're selling cookies, right?
Yeah.
Selling cookies, right? So no matter if you're selling cookies, whatever you're doing, right? Sometimes people come to you and they ask you, hey, I want you to do this for me because I'm your neighbor or I'm your family or I'm your friend, right? And that's when, like, yes, they can ask you to do unethical things, totally fine. But to me, that's not my question. My question is more when that client or that neighbor, friend, family asks you to go above and beyond what you are being paid to do in your industry, right, for them. Right, where for me it'd be like, hey, I come in and they or actually no, let's go to Eli. Eli, let's say that somebody were to tell you, hey, I want to buy 4 cookies from you, right? But I only want to pay you for 2 cookies. Is that fair? And how would you treat that? What would you say to that person? That's a good one, right? Well, they only want to pay for 2 cookies, but they want 4 cookies.
Would you still give them the cookies?
Would you give them all 4?
Yeah.
You would? Would you try, and would you make them pay for 4, or would you make them pay for 2? They're family. Remember, it's family.
It's grandma.
Maybe not grandma.
Family's
Maybe not
never involved
mama.
for free.
Maybe it's like a second cousin once removed. Because we all have them.
2.
You give them 2 and make them pay for 2?
Yeah.
You give them 2. That's it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't give them 3 and make
No.
them pay for 2? They get 2, they pay for 2.
Yeah.
That's it. I love that. I love that. Stick to your morals, right?
Good
Or
job.
ethics or values
All
or
three.
whatever they
Something.
are.
Mix of all.
Whatever they are.
Whatever the
Look up-
Google says.
Look up the Google and
Yeah.
figure it out. So that's my question is when it comes to clients or clients being quote unquote your family, friends, your neighbors, asking you to go above and beyond what you do or what you've quoted or what your price is, right? That's a big one.
Yeah.
That people ask a lot.
Whenever anybody says, whenever I quote somebody and they're like, oh, well, you know, my cousin can do it for $30 an hour or something. And I'm like, okay, well then have your cousin do it. Like, I don't care. Like, you know
Go
what I
to
mean?
your
Like,
cousin.
what did Eric say? Is that saying that Willy Wonka was unethical and underpaying her? Me? Underpaying me? I'm not orange. I might be short. I'm not orange.
I agree, right? Eli, she is definitely a Willy Wonka, right? Did she work in the Willy Wonka factory? Oompa
Oompa
Loompa?
Loompa.
That's it.
Gotta get your white suit though.
Yeah. Paint your face orange.
not
We'll do
gonna-
that.
That's gonna be for next Halloween.
That's it.
Yeah, Ben.
I love
A
that.
Halloween show.
I
On your
love
birthday.
that. I
But-
love that.
But you know, like it's just like for close friends and family, do I give free advice? Yes, but I also give free advice to people that contact us on our website. So it's something that we've always done across the board.
That's advice. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Oh, like a service?
literal
No.
Literal, somebody says to you, hey, I want you to like Derek, we'll use you, and here is $500,000. Please manage it for me. Right. And I don't know how you do it, what you do, and how your rates are set up, but I'm going to try and say like, oh, hey, by the way, here's another, 7 accounts that I want you to manage.
Yeah. So, I mean, for us, as your assets grow, we charge less. So we have.
Okay. Bad example then.
Yeah.
All right. So give me an example of how.
Sorry, Joe.
Listen, clearly I don't know your industry and how it's built.
It's okay. I understand what you're trying to put out there.
But like literally, it's like how, like if people.
So if I came to you and was like, "Hey, what's the next hot stock?" and whatever, you tell me, and I'm gonna go buy it on Robinhood by myself, and cut your feet. Right? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what Joe's saying.
Kinda?
But it's not what I do.
But like,
not like inside trading, but
So Joe's saying, we charge for financial planning. So we go through the full financial plan. He's saying, if someone comes to you, if normally you charge, let's say $2,000, or you're going to say $1,500. And we do that for clients, depending on the situation, because one, it can be family or friends, right? We're always helping them out, but it also can depend on complexity and those things as well. It's really going to depend on industry. I mean,
that's okay. So to me, that would be like somebody coming to you and saying, hey, I got, myself and my wife, and we got a kid, and we got like 3 bank accounts and no savings and no bonds and no this and no that. And then they come to you and go, oh, by the way, we have dividends, we have stocks, we have rollovers, we have 401, we have all this stuff that we need you to now digest. Yeah. Right. And that would be well above and beyond the workload you agreed to based on the price you quoted. Right. That to me is how I would more boil this down. Do we have a comment from the peanut gallery over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Eric, he said maybe if you were to use a everlasting gobstopper. So somebody comes in to the factory, Steph, and wants an everlasting gobstopper. Do you charge them if they're family?
Well, that's literally it. Thank you for the candy relation. I mean, we're sticking with cookies here. I like cookies better. So Mary says, do you give the same level of service for those people that want a discount because they are quote unquote family?
No, I don't.
Really?
I will be the laziest person ever to come across the earth when somebody wants me to discount my time. Like Rich will tell you, I have an unhealthy value of my time. And if you want a discount, you will get discount service. My discount will match my service.
No, that's
really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I challenge you to change that.
I don't know. Let's see if my mom says. But yeah.
See what my mom's. Come on, Linda, chime in now.
That's it.
What she said.
What about you, Joe?
Comes around, but that was a little while ago.
But yeah, I can't it's different because like I offer a free consultation. So I'll give you my consultation. I'll give you as much advice and whatever. Sometimes my consultations last an hour and a half. You get an hour and a half of free time of picking my brain. Mm-hmm. You sign that contract, like that is what it is. I don't discount my rate.
Okay, but that's a good point though, actually, is hang on from the audience back there, Peanut Gallery. You're just butting in all left and right here. We can't get through one conversation without the Peanut Gallery chiming in. So, but that's a good point. You said you will discount based on the discount, but what if you went to them and said, this is my quote. I am giving you a quote with the discount. Wow, Linda just chimed in and said, is that why she owes so much on her taxes?
No, that's the government.
Yeah. Linda, that has nothing to do with your daughter, all right? But that's actually a good point, though, is you set your contract before you say go. So if your contract says, hey, you're a friend, you're a family, I'm going to do the work for you. Here is my set rate. I'm going to give you, a 5% discount on my rate, and I'm going to go and do the work the exact same I would, but just I'm going to charge you 5% less because you were that family. But it was established from the beginning. As long as
whatever we agree upon is the services that I will deliver on. But
that's what I
don't discount my rate, family, friends.
But that's what
whatever.
I'm
I
getting
don't
at, though.
do that just
It's
because
set
it's
in
not.
standard.
I feel like it's shitty of you as my friend
Whoa,
to ask for a discount.
Yep, absolutely.
Like
You're
I
right, you're
have
right.
spent 19 years like developing this skill that you don't have. Like I can't do what you do, and you've spent
I
many a
bet you
year.
could. I bet.
No, okay, fine.
And it wasn't
I
19
won't
years.
do what you do. We'll just rephrase that. I won't do
Fair.
what you do, but you have spent time developing that. You have spent time developing your brand,
Totally.
and I should respect what you. Just like when I go to the tattoo parlor, I don't negotiate with my tattoo artist. He tells
No,
me a
you're right.
price. I give him that price.
Do you have so you sign a contract? They're going to pay X dollars.
Yeah.
Do you have if something else pops up, it's X amount per job or X amount per hour for extra things? Is
Yeah.
that kind of built
Out
into
of
it?
scope
Okay.
work is
A full
in our contract. Yeah.
a full contract.
So we have our Schedule A, which has our agreed upon list of services.
Mhm.
Anything you ask me to do outside of that scope of work, there is a bill rate listed on our contract. But before I do said work, I email you in writing telling you, hey, I could totally accommodate this request, but what you're asking me is outside of scope. This will be our price to do this.
Okay,
So
so
should
it's
we-
built in there.
Should we boil this down to cookies?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he chimes in. Okay, so if somebody were to come to you, Eli, and say, I want to buy a dozen cookies. How many is a dozen? Do you know how many a dozen is?
Let's say like
12.
507,000.
Or
$507,000. Okay.
or 12. Your cookies must be really, really yummy to be $507,000. But they're the best cookies ever. But you have 12 cookies. Somebody wants to buy 12 cookies from you, right? Or they say, hey, you say, hey, my cookies are on sale for $12 for 12 cookies, right? And then somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want 18 cookies for $12 because they are your mommy. Would you sell your mommy 18 cookies for $12, even though everybody else has to pay $12 for 12 cookies?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Why? Because you love your mommy, right?
Yeah.
I love my mommy too. What I have to say though, for me though, for that is, well, I can only imagine what Eli's expenses are and his, right, and his labor and all that stuff. And so to me, Eli could probably make 18 cookies for the cost of maybe,
1 million.
12 cookies.
Cost
not a
them $1
million.
million.
$1
Cost of
Gold
of
cookies.
12 cookies, right? And
No
so
concept of money.
no, $1 million. But to me though, like the idea for us when we do a service for somebody that we can bend over backwards for, I guess, right? Like somebody that you care about and you want to take care of, that extra service. I get your point, right?
It's a difference between you doing it as the owner or foreman on the job and you initiating that discount of service versus them asking you for the discount of service. There's a big difference in that.
No, but and I think that's where your mindset is coming in from the side of like somebody asking you, but my mindset is coming in from I'm going to give it to myself. But no matter what, I think our perspective is the same, is that it is established from the beginning, right? Like no matter what, and I don't know how you would be able to, Derek would be able to incorporate that in. Is like it's like
percentage.
Yeah,
no?
somebody be able to come
Yeah.
to you and say, like, yeah, I want you to manage my finances, but you're a close family member. Well, what do you do, right? Do you start to take money from your family where you're like, oh, well, this is my parent, and I don't want to manage and take money from my parents and get paid off my parents, right? When they perhaps supported me my entire life.
Yeah.
Oh, Eli has a question. Hang on. Let's get through the Derek's question. Go ahead. Oh, we're going to go for Eli?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eli.
This is for Stephanie.
Oh, I believe that's mom to you, bro. That's
Gotta
mom.
get her a name tag.
That's mom.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So what will happen if no one used Stephanie? No one used it.
Then you have no plushies.
No blankets, no plushies.
No plushies.
Oh man. Hey, no flour and no chocolate chips to make cookies, bro.
I want to
Out of business.
Out of business. Cookie business is out of business,
Maybe
bro.
homeless. We go live with
Oh,
grandma.
oh man.
Grandma, we're moving in.
Linda, we're coming to Arizona.
Visit
All
my
right,
cousin.
let's dive
Actually,
into that.
Eli, you'd be homeschooled.
Maybe, I don't know. Public's free. So diving into that, right? Like how would you taxes besides that? Well, whatever.
So how do you
I don't
handle,
care. I don't
like-
pay the bills.
So you get a certain percentage of the portfolio
Yeah.
or what, or the trade or
Correct.
whatever you guys do.
The portfolio.
So you get a certain percentage. If you had a family member come, do you
Mom,
do you get
Dad.
offended when someone asks for a
I've
discount?
never had anyone family related ask for a discount. I've given them discounts just
Okay.
because,
Mhm.
but I've never had a family member ask
Clearly,
for a
Steph
discount.
is from a jaded set where she's asked for discounts all the time, and we are not. We're just like
I
trying
don't
to.
have people asking me for, like, my family doesn't ask me for discounts, but like I'm from working in construction for so many years and getting like that whole thing. Like
Tradespeople are.
that's
a
Tradespeople.
different-
that's a whole
that's
different
breed.
animal, and so that's what I've
Fair.
been used to for the last
Fair.
15 years.
Jaded. That's why I said you're jaded.
But like I just think I find it to be insulting. Like when I was at a customer's office the other day and he was like, "Oh, well," because he saw my job ad out. And he's like, "Oh, well, you're offering to pay this person X amount of dollars, but I pay you this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll send this entry-level person that doesn't have the experience to your office." And he just started laughing. And then he's like, "I would run them out of the industry in 30 minutes or less." And so I'm
You
like,
went, yeah, exactly.
I'm like, "You're paying what you pay because I, as the owner, go to the city of Chicago to provide this additional service
right.
to you
we were talking
during
about
this
that.
time."
Yes.
Well,
yes.
And there's no harm in value. You should value you and your services and your business and what you do and what you've worked hard to build, right? Giving a discount, you can do it if you want to, but that's your
Right.
decision.
But that's like different when it's you giving the
Making
discount
that-
versus
yeah.
someone discounting
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
And I
Yes.
honestly, I don't know how I would react in that situation of someone saying, "Hey, I want a certain discount." I mean,
Like-
I guess it would be like, "Hey, make a case for it." Like, you
So-
know,
I don't,
But-
well, like
Okay,
if I came
actually-
to you and I was like, "Hey, we're in this networking group, and there's the potential for me to dangle this carrot of you having access to my Rolodex, but you give me this discount, and
Yeah,
I'll give
no.
you my Rolodex."
Do-
It's like the same thing. It's kind of shitty.
So
it is. It
Right.
is.
Can I give you my solution? Because,
Yeah.
I'm a service industry though, right? Like we do the work, right? So but you have service that needs to be done, right? Like data needs to be entered, right? Things need to be done. You need to go out and do your research. You need to be knowledgeable, right? You need to know your industry. So if somebody came to me because we'd be sitting in some basement or on the third step of the basement stairs, one step above the 1 foot of water that's in their basement, right? And
You've
and
got all
we're
the power.
both, me and the homeowner are looking at it, and they're going, and I'm saying, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be about X amount of dollars, right? And they go, how about X minus, 10 grand or whatever it may be. However, listen, I got people that cut me cheap. I got people that cut me hard. It could be 1,000, it could be 10, it could be whatever the number is. I'm just X minus Y for algebraic people out there. I don't care what it is. And I'd say, okay, great. Here, you want to take off that amount. Here is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I do
So
the same thing.
go get your pump, get this water out, get all your stuff and contents moved, and then have it all cleaned out and dry and literally ready for me to come and set my equipment. And then I'll set my equipment, turn it all on, come back and monitor it, maybe spend about 6 hours on your job, and that will save you that amount of money, and you're going to do all of the labor to do everything. Otherwise, you can't do everything else, right? So I'll give him the a la mode of what I'll do versus what he could do to make him get that price range. But no, I'm not discounting my rates. I'm more alamoting and taking away my services.
That's what I refer to as educating
I
the
would-
client.
Yeah.
And I would say in your situation, if I'm standing there with a foot of water in my basement, there's no way I'm negotiating with you. I am like, get this
You
fixed.
would be shocked on
I
how
would say,
people will
Get this
negotiate with
fixed.
me.
Let's go.
Try to
Let's-
negotiate. So many people try to
Be done with
negotiate. No, yeah.
So,
Yes, from the audience.
so ethically speaking, are your do your customers have poor ethics if they're asking for that discount?
I think it's human nature to ask for a
Yeah.
discount.
I agree with
I
that.
don't think it's
everything's
necessarily
that's a
like.
great point. Yeah,
Everything's a
fair
I don't
point.
think it's like an ethical thing. I think it's just human nature to ask for the discount. I just personally, especially like a business owner to business owner, I find it insulting.
Right, but I don't ask.
You're
I don't.
jaded.
I don't ask for a
Well,
discount
work
when I
B2B.
go
You
to
work B2C.
Meyer.
There's a very different.
True.
Well, I negotiated the price of a goldfish once, so I don't know.
I
I was at
What, from 12 cents to 10?
No, it was a very.
But
It
yeah,
was a very
but-
expensive goldfish. My mom could
It
attest.
was a koi?
But
No,
Moses is
It
your
was
leader.
like one of those
I-
like
Oh
bubble-headed
my
goldfish.
gosh.
It was $12.99. Gavin killed the goldfish.
$12.99 for a goldfish?
Right.
Yeah, it was one of those like bubble-headed ones. Gavin killed it. I needed to get one. I only had $10. I had
Yeah.
to negotiate.
Right. So that,
Gavin killed a
We our audience is dying in the
There's
back.
wrong.
What?
Yeah, Gavin killed the fish. Did you know that, Eli? Did you know you might have put it into the cookies?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
like
All right, we're good.
This is
Cookies?
Right.
pre-Eli.
Pre-Eli.
So-
We have goldfish
all right.
cookies.
So I ask for I'm sitting in your office, Derek. I ask for you to waive a couple of fees. You don't, right? Because ethically, you're not going to, right? And I'm worth $10 million. And then I'm like, hey, buddy, come on, I'm bringing my 10 million. Just waive these couple of fees. You don't. When I leave, do you sit by the coffee machine and go, I can't believe this rich bastard. Jeez, he got all the money in the world, and
Yeah.
he wanted me to cut out a couple of $200 fees.
Yeah,
But
'cause
Jack
I've
off.
seen that a lot.
But
Not
wait-
not so much in this, position that I'm in now, but when I first started out, when I was at the bank, people made big mistakes and cost them many fees. And
Well, now my question though is,
Always
if
blame
I
us.
if I have the ability to waive a fee or two, and I'm still making money,
But that's not
On the
questioning
ja-
your ethics, though.
correct. That's what I'm
That's just
saying.
you
though.
as a business
That's
owner.
me as a business owner.
That's why they say never
saying,
put the owner on the job.
Oh God, you're right. I will
Yeah.
waive every fee. I will
Yeah.
cut. I will slash jobs like left and right and go. We're good. Don't worry
Oh my
about
God,
a
you
half
better
price.
hope
We're-
that Carrie is not
Oh,
watching
Carrie,
this show.
this is literally why I don't go on jobs is because I come in and go, oh yeah, I'll redneck, I'll do all that half price. You bet your ass I will, and yada yada, and we'll literally churn and burn, and I'll be like, I could do it all, and then we turn around and go, damn it, I did it wrong. Like I should have bet, charged more for that, but like.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, yes, I will waive a job for a client that I can get that is going to be related to multiple other clients, right? That I know
Oh,
are going
God,
to
I
bring
hate the
in.
dangling carrot. I
Well,
hate that.
It's
so
not
much.
a dangling carrot though.
It
It's
is.
more a matter of like a spider web where
It
I can go, not like spider web, but like spider web where I can like literally touch that person and they have a
No.
bunch of people that I can go and touch as well.
I don't like the carrots.
That's not a carrot. It's a
It is.
spider web.
Whatever.
Either
Whatever
way-
you want to call it. A spider web, a carrot, a trinket, a treat, a gold doubloon, whatever you want to call it. I don't like that.
You just went with
It's not an
all
ethical thing,
like
but it's not a
solid
personal thing.
structures. I went with the spider web, which is like a web of loveliness that interconnects everything. And you literally went with one solid material that's not a spider web anywhere near.
Marshmallows, fine.
Marshmallows are not
Fire-roasted
spider web.
marshmallow that you could just spread out, or that new nail polish that people
Marshmallows.
just do this with on TikTok. I don't know what it
Well,
is, but it's a
do,
Tack.
do you
TikTok.
have the flip side too, though, where
Thank
you,
you.
you charge a price and you're like,
I think it's
I
you're trying to
I need to charge more. Just because
Yes.
of dealing with
Yes.
that client. I have
Yes.
some clients that they're willing. They're okay. I'll pay this fee. I'll pay this plan, whatever it may be. But then you're like, holy cow! I should have charged like 6 times this.
But
just-
that should have
just
been built
dealing
in your
with it.
contract.
That's why we
to
have
make
a
that
90-day
change, right?
option for review in our contract.
Yeah.
That
So
we
it's
will
contract.
review the
Contract.
contract, and if we feel that our fees are not set appropriately, whether it's in our favor or their favor, then we have the option to renegotiate within that 90-day period of time.
Yeah, because maybe the work is the same, but the client is.
It's called a PITA.
Yeah.
In our business we call them change orders. And so that'll be if you're mid-job and we can take a documentation of what's going on. Hey, we were peeling up the carpet that we had to tear away. We tore up the carpet, and here is surprisingly another layer of carpet.
See, I just want to point out that Mary Shep says that she specifically agrees with me and she's not dangling anything and that her services have value.
I love that
She
because
specifically named
Mary's because Mary's in the same industry that I'm in, so we're all good, and she represents. So I'm very happy with what
She does not represent Restoration 2.
That's right. That's right. There is no Restoration 2 here.
But I feel like all of this whole thing, because we're coming down the last like 5 minutes of the show, 4 minutes of the show,
God, that flew
by really fast.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of this conversation is a mix and mingle of people's like personal values versus their ethics. And there's a very like blurry fine line, I feel like, combined within that. Like, yes, there's hard no's. Like, will you murder somebody? Probably not. Will you launder money? Probably not. Will you take inside like stock trades and take all your clients' money and build up the market to then sell it off? Probably not. You know, like there's
hard
like,
and fast yeses and nos that are known in every industry,
but then there's
in every
things
world. Right,
that
right,
prevent you from going to that next level just because
That's
of
gray
the
area.
values and morals
Right.
that were instilled in you in your environment. As Kent had pointed out, that everybody comes from different areas. and
Question:
regions.
Can you hold your values and morals even if they go against those in your industry that excel you? Could you hold those and still be excelled?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely can.
Yes?
Yeah.
So then really your values and morals and your drive doesn't matter what it is, what your industry is. You just know how to go and do what you're saying is. You go, you do, you stick to your values, morals, ethics,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, and you can drive your career.
You just have to trust in it. I mean, trust in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And
I like that. Actually, I really like that because that's actually a good thing is like a lot of people don't trust in themselves. They don't trust.
I stick to my 2 truths and a lie all day, every day.
you still haven't got mine. I don't think.
I mean, it's in there. And that's like to me, you were pretty much arrested. So, all right, we got 2 minutes left. Let's wrap this up. We're getting way off topic, but I mean, Eli, let's bring it back to the cookies. All right, dude, because I love the cookies. If somebody said to you, "Hey, I want some chocolate chip cookies," and all you had was M&M cookies left,
Okay.
right? And you said, "Hey, I have chocolate chip cookies. Just give me 1 minute." And you would go in back and you'd lick all the M&M coating off the M&Ms. Would that be okay? And then you give them to them with no M&M coatings because you licked it all off, and they got chocolate chips inside. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes! I love that answer.
Driven by the dollar.
I just
Love it.
love that answer.
I could
Eli,
just-
you've been the
What do you
best
mean?
guest
Just see it
ever,
back
dude.
there.
Yeah. Do you really see it back there? Now the problem is that when the
Colors
M&M
all over
coating
it, yeah.
Right.
gets into the cookies, you gotta eat the cookie around the M&M coating too.
All right,
We're over
like
this.
30 seconds. Why don't you tell everybody how to get a hold of you one more time?
Derek Hartman, Fraser Wealth Management, 815-308-5674. If you want to email me, Derek, DEREK, at Fraser, FRASERWM.com.
Eli, how do they get a hold of you?
What?
How do they get a hold of
Eli's
Huh?
cookies at
Talk to his assistant mother.
yes
100.
100 Eli Lane, and he will send you cookies, chocolate chips, M&Ms, unlicked, and all that.
That's really-
Maybe.
Go ahead, Steph.
Steph Conley, Steph's Bookkeeping Service, stephsbooks.com, or 847-942-3004.
Joe Turner, Restoration One, 847-264-4664.
Of course, you just got caught in the net here in the know with Steph and Joe. Come back tonight at 8 p.m. for a brand new Dream Home Experts Live from Quiet Cool Studios. Until then, folks, be good and be good to each other.
Love ya.